Hey everyone, welcome to the PCS-Proof Podcast, where we're covering the vital things you need to know to thrive in every season of military life. I'm your host and milspouse fitness expert, Grace Barnick-Damazo, and I encourage you to join me each week as we dive deep into topics like fitness, wellness, and entrepreneurship as a military spouse so that you can maintain your own sense of identity and purpose, conquering every transition with strength and resilience. As we journey together, you can expect uplifting conversations and insights. We'll share some laughs, and you can count on me to keep it real so that together we can become truly PCS-proof. Now let's get into it. Welcome back to the PCS-Proof Podcast. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to take a quick second and just brag because this week is really exciting. At the time that I'm recording, I'm wrapping up a body transformation challenge that I ran with a small group of really committed participants. The challenge is called the Rock Your Resolutions Transformation Challenge, and we've spent the last 9 weeks focusing on nutrition education, on strategic exercise, proper fueling, staying more active throughout the day, stress management, and there was a recovery piece as well. And at the beginning of the challenge, I ask all the participants to select an outfit that they're going to use as their measuring stick for progress. And after 9 weeks, each participant tries the measuring stick outfits on again. And it's just so rewarding to hear how proud they are of themselves. So proud that 1, they followed through with the commitment that they made to themselves. And then 2, even though during the challenge, there were times where they didn't feel like anything was changing. They didn't feel like anything was really happening with their bodies, but they stayed the course. And at the end of the 9 weeks, when they see their progress and how their bodies have transformed, it just feels like magic. And I know it's not magic. I've done this challenge multiple times in the past, and every single time it's the same. We can't see change that's happening on the micro in the day by day, but over time, our bodies can do really amazing things. Without shortcuts, without medications, just consistent effort and putting our efforts in the places that have been scientifically proven to work. But when you see that for yourself, when you prove to yourself that, wow, it really actually does work. I put in the effort and my body responded. It feels really magical. And also at the beginning of the challenge, I let every single one of them know that there's going to be at least 1 week during the challenge that's going to be really tough for you. You're going to struggle with at least one or more of the elements of the challenge, and you're going to want to throw in the towel and you're going to want to give up. And even though every single one of them kind of thinks to themselves, it's not going to happen to me, I can stay the course for 9 weeks, it's not that long. Sure enough, every single one of them had that one tough week throughout the course of the challenge, but because they kind of knew that in advance, they were able to keep going. And at the end, they're super proud of themselves. They broke through that barrier that would have held them back in the past. And I asked them at the end of the challenge, what were some of the ahas that you had? And a lot of them do state that they would have given up in the past. They would have thought like, why am I putting in the effort? Nothing's changing. I messed up, and they would have given up. But now they know that they can push through that barrier, and they have a formula that they can now rinse and repeat again and again. They've proven to themselves that they can be successful. So I just want to take a moment and acknowledge them for their hard work. They deserve it. If you're listening right now, you know who you are. Know that I'm a really proud coach, and you should be really proud of yourself. And of course, I'm really happy that they're seeing results. That's the cherry on the cake. But I'm more excited to brag about them because in this world of crash diets and weight loss drugs, these people chose to bet on themselves and their own hard work and dedication. And they're going to be healthier for it for the rest of their lives. And for that, they deserve some recognition. So congratulations to them. And because I'm talking about a challenge, this is a perfect introduction to what we're going to be talking about today. Because there are times in life when we can push ourselves a little bit more, like this challenge, and it'll yield big results, huge results. And then there are times in our lives when we might want to push ourselves, and it could actually dig us deeper into a hole. And this is especially true in military life. I gave you this story and an example back in episode 2. And you might remember that I shared a story about my own business coach talking to a coaching client of his who was battling cancer, but wanted to embark on a weight loss journey. And again, this is an extreme example, but I hope you can just See that by putting your body under additional stress, trying to maintain a calorie deficit and exercising to build lean muscle, that is only going to make it more difficult for you to have the energy to battle something like cancer. And moreover, the stress that your body's already under as it's fighting to hold off cancer is only going to put you in a worse position for it to want to release body fat. So it's a lose-lose situation. And we would never knowingly want to do that to ourselves, right? So then why do we do this to ourselves in military life? Military life has these seasons that are always changing, and they don't always follow what's going on with the rest of the world. In fact, rarely do they coincide with what's happening with our neighbor on post or on base. And when the rest of the world, for instance, right now we're in May, we're preparing for the upcoming summer break. Most people are planning vacations. They're planning summer camps for their kids. Maybe they're planning camping trips, etc. You might be right in the middle of packing up your entire life to move across the country or overseas. You might be in the middle of having to leave your job, leave your home, saying see you later to all your friends and your family. Instead of getting ready for summer fun and relaxation like the rest of the world, you might be preparing for or smack in the middle of one of the most stressful seasons in military life. And this goes both ways, right? During the holiday season, when a lot of people are under a massive amount of stress, even though it's fun, the holidays are fun, but from about Thanksgiving to New Year's, we're constantly on the move. We're going to holiday parties. We're traveling to see family and friends. Maybe they're staying with us. Typically is a really high stress season. We might be in a completely different country, far away from our families. And this might actually be the most stable season of our life. And yeah, the reality is it's also really sad and can be very lonely. And that just comes from being far away from our loved ones. But this might be the perfect season of military life for you to see some opportunities that you haven't been able to at other times of the year. And all of this is to say that if we're not aware of these unique seasons of military life, we might be pushing too hard in less opportune times. And we might be missing out on opportunities to push forward when the seasons are more ideal and we'll see the most progress. So today I wanted to briefly run through these 4 seasons of military life. And as we go through them, I want you to try and place yourself in one of these seasons that aligns most with your current state of military life. And this is a really big reason why talking about and recognizing these seasons is so important. Military life changes constantly, and it does not always follow, in fact, rarely does it follow the same cyclical pattern that nature's seasons do. So even though I'm going to be talking about them as they relate to the 4 seasons that we're currently, that we all understand, be aware that your journey might have 2 winters in the same year, or you might have a fall that comes right after a spring. I'm just giving you a framework that you can use to help you get some understanding of how to set yourself up for success without putting additional stress onto our already stressful lives. I need to take a very short break. But when I return, I'm going to dive deep into each of the 4 seasons of military life, and then I'm going to give you some actionable tips so that you can apply them to your own journey and your own goals. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hey, fellow milspouse. Ever felt the frustration of being forced to restart your fitness routine every time military life throws you a curveball? Whether it's a PCS, a deployment, or a short-term assignment, disruptions can make progress feel nearly impossible. But now there's a solution designed just for you, the PCS-Proof Fitness Program from FitPath Coaching. Designed by a woman in military life, for women in military life. It's flexible, adaptable, and affordable. No more setbacks or starting over, just steady progress on your terms. Visit fitpathcoaching.com/PCS-proof-fitness to start your journey today. And as a special offer for our podcast listeners, get your first month free with promo code POD4FREE. That's POD, the number 4, FREE. Say goodbye to stress and frustration and hello to a stronger, healthier, happier you with PCS-Proof Fitness. Join us today and get ready to conquer any challenge military life sends your way. PCS-Proof Fitness, join today. So since it's currently spring outside when I'm recording this, let's go ahead and start with spring. Spring season of military life is the fresh start. This is when we're settling into our new duty station. We're settling into our new routine. This is all about new beginnings, new opportunities to create whatever life you've been wanting to, but maybe you got bogged down at the last duty station. This is one of those rare upsides to getting our life turned upside down every few years. So once we transition to the new duty station, things start to turn right side back up. We have a clean slate to get to reshape our lives and our routines to more closely align with the life that we want to live. Maybe it's the opportunity to search for a new job that you actually like after leaving a job that you absolutely hated at the last place. Maybe it's creating a better work-life balance after falling into a bit of an imbalance where you previously were. And this is what happened with me. In the case for me, I was working way more than I wanted to at our last duty station. So this opportunity came up to be able to reset, and I'm just super grateful for that. And maybe it is just getting more clarity on what's really important to you and then reshaping your schedule to more closely align with that. This is the perfect season to proactively reshape your life. So some characteristics that might characterize the spring season are that we're kind of in a medium to low stress state. It's all about new beginnings, it's exciting, fresh starts, clean slates, all of that. So this is an opportune time to embrace change. Maybe it's a great time to explore some new fitness activities or routines, or try out something new that you were maybe afraid to try at the last place. No one knows you at this new duty station. No one cares if you show up to that new exercise class just to try it out or a new club to try it out. This is a great time for that. And don't wait, okay? This is the time to be proactive. So do not wait. You might miss your opportunity. This is the perfect time to commit and then start to build that consistency before regular life starts to creep back in and take over our schedules. And so we talked about consistency. This is a great time to build consistency because when our stress levels are on the lower end of the scale, it's a lot easier to maintain a routine and build those habits. And the habits are what are going to make it easier to sustain when the stress levels start to rise. We want to establish consistency now when the stress levels are lower so that they're habits by the time stress levels start to rise up. And because I am really big about supporting military spouse entrepreneurship, I want to talk to you entrepreneurs out there. This is a great time to reevaluating your systems and looking for ways to be more efficient. During this spring season, if you're not happy with the direction that your business has been going or your work-life balance, this is the time to make big changes. So reevaluate your systems. Look for opportunities to get more efficient. Maybe it's bringing on some help to free up more of your time for upcoming seasons or just to create that work-life balance that you're going to be happy with. This is the time to do that. Now transitioning into the summer season of military life, this is when you're now established at your current duty station. Routines are starting to become more normal. So your boxes are all unpacked. The kids are mostly settled. The weekly routines are fairly regular. I'm going to say fairly because they're never that regular. But this is a great time to take on a new challenge. Stress is at its lowest during this summer season. So this is the ideal time to embark on something new. Maybe you've been really wanting to train for a sporting event or competition or challenge yourself to fit into that pair of jeans that you've been holding on to. This is the perfect season for that. Or if you're looking for an opportunity to maybe start cooking more healthily, this is a great season to dive into and learn more about that. Again, this doesn't mean that you can't do any of this at any time of life, in any season of life, but when stress is at its highest, it's going to be way harder to start doing something new. And again, you might be digging yourself into a deeper hole by adding more stress, more things onto your priority list. But when you're leaning into new challenges, when stress levels are at their lowest, it makes it so much easier to maintain during the higher stress seasons. So that's why the summer season is a great time to start new things. So characteristics of the summer season are that we're low stress. Everything is feeling a little bit more routine. You have that feeling of stability. This is the time to seize opportunities. This is the time to set ambitious fitness and health goals. Maybe sign up for a race, train for it. Sign up for a new course, learn a new skill, learn how to cook foods differently than you were before. Tell your coach that you're ready to take your fitness or your weight loss journey to the next level. This is the time to fully commit, okay? And I want you to lean into that. Like, this is maybe the time that you wanted to add on a little bit more frequency or more intensity into your workouts, and then lean into that. You might want to also just embrace being more active. This might be a great time to join a club or a sports team and just stay more active. Maybe you're volunteering to coach your kids' soccer team. And this is the season I'm currently in, just so you guys know. I'm taking full advantage of it because we just went through a really brutal PCS. I'm just super happy to have my routine back, and I'm loving spending more time doing things I love. I'm playing softball most nights of the week. I got to go ice skating last weekend, one of my favorite things to do. And I'm just really loving and embracing this process of learning how to podcast. So this is a time that I'm really taking full advantage of the opportunity to do new things and do things that I really, really love to do and lean into that. And for you business owners out there, this is a time to push hard for growth. This is an opportune time to launch a new product, invest in learning new skills that will help you expand your services or increase your value for your clientele. This is the time to do that. Now we're going to transition into the fall season. The fall season of military life is the period of time leading up to a PCS or a deployment, maybe like the beginning parts of the deployment before things start to settle into a new routine. This is the ramp up. This is the time where there's tons of planning and preparation. We're starting to have to say goodbyes, see you laters. We're readying for the winter season of military life. So stress during this time is medium level. I mean, most of the time we don't even have our orders yet, right? We're kind of like, hurry up and wait. We can do a little bit of planning, but a lot of unknowns are happening during this fall season. So medium stress level, lots of planning, lots of prepping, starting to say our goodbyes. This is the time where we want to plan ahead for flexibility. We want to be proactive in creating flexibility in all areas of our life so that we're ready when things really start to ramp up. So we might want to create a fitness plan or make sure that we have a fitness plan in place that allows the flexibility that maybe we don't have time or the energy to make it to the gym that day, we're able to work out at home. Or having the option to have shorter workouts might be what you need to stay on track during the fall season. And we want to lean into support, lean into our community to keep us motivated during this time. So this is a perfect time to double up our efforts with those people that we are having to say goodbye to that we love so much, that we want to spend time with. Maybe inviting your friend to go with you to the gym or go for a walk or a hike so that you can spend that quality time together that you're really wanting and you know is limited, but also stay on track with your health and fitness goals. This might also be a great time to do some cooking parties, some potlucks where you guys share healthy recipes. So you're kind of doubling up your efforts. Your time is limited. We want to stay flexible. This is a great time to double up our efforts on that. Additionally, stress management techniques are going to be essential because, again, we might be heading straight into the winter season. We're heading straight into a PCS or straight into a deployment. We want to make sure that we're establishing good stress management techniques. So I love utilizing short abdominal breathing sessions. This really helps me to manage my anxiety when I'm starting to feel really overwhelmed. And even just making time to go outside for a short walk, that always helps me kind of refocus, clear the noise, the chaos that feels like it's starting to ramp up around me, and just kind of like refocus on what needs to get done and feel like I'm back in control. So just simple things to help build up your stress management techniques, and your mindfulness will be really helpful in building up your mental resilience. And for entrepreneurs, especially for solopreneurs, and depending on your business, this might not be the best time to focus on growth and expansion in your business. It might be, however, a perfect time to focus your energy on protecting your business. Your systems are going to be what keep you afloat during this season and the winter season. So make sure that you have your system set up now to reduce the likelihood that things are going to start falling through the cracks when everything really starts to ramp up and we go into the winter season. Okay, so focus on your systems during this time. And our final season that we're going to talk about of military life is during the PCS, or at the beginning of a deployment period where everything feels out of control. Everything feels like the routine went out the window. Everything's an upheaval, and our stress levels are at their highest. This is not the time to be adding anything new to your priority list. It's not the time to be aggressively trying to lose weight, make huge changes to your body composition, train for competition. Okay, there are other seasons that are better suited for that. This is not it. During the winter season, we need to focus on being flexible, being able to fit in our priorities when we can, but not be so hard set on what they look like. Okay, so during this time, you might want to focus on quick workouts that you can do anywhere. Yeah, I know you probably want to be in the gym. You probably want to be, in your normal routine. That will come. But right now, we just need to make sure that we're maintaining. And we want to focus on, again, the principles, not the tools, not the stuff. So whether we're focusing on exercise or we want to prioritize nutrition during this time, focus on the principles rather than the stuff or the stuff surrounding it. And that'll go a long way. You're probably going to be eating out a lot during this time. So look for opportunities to focus on lean protein options on the menu, or maybe making sure you're adding in fruits and veggies. Plan ahead. And I'll just share for myself, this last PCS was particularly brutal. And we spent about 10 weeks in a hotel room that had like a little kitchenette, not even really a kitchen. So very minimal equipment, but with a little bit of planning and a $25 multi-cooker, it really went a long way to feeling like I had a little bit of control over my nutrition and eating fairly healthy. So it is doable. You just have to plan ahead and be creative in what it looks like. It's not going to be quote unquote perfect, but it'll work, right? And that's all we need to focus on during the winter months. Also, during the winter season, we need to prioritize our mental health and our self-care. This is essential. So sleep when you can. Take walks. This is exactly the time that we need to lean into our stable rocks. We talked about our stable rocks in episode 4. So if you haven't listened to that yet, I encourage you to go back and listen to that episode after this one and celebrate any win. The smallest wins need to be celebrated to help you stay on track and stay motivated. Even if you're able to commit to yourself to doing 10 air squats or 10 toe touches or 10 counter push-ups in a day, be proud of yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. You are 10 reps closer to your fitness goals and you never gave up. And for business owners, this is the time to protect your energy. During this very high stress season, you will need to show up for your employees, your clients, your customers in the best way possible. They're still counting on you. So you might need to adjust your schedule and you might need to put more strict guardrails on your time so that when you do show up, you're able to give the level of energy that your business deserves, that your business needs. And find ways to spend the majority of your time working on things that you love about your business, if that's possible. Delegate or automate the other stuff. Again, your systems are going to be what allow you to not just survive this season, but also to show up for your business in ways that allow you to keep it going until you can transition into the next season of military life. So make sure that you're protecting your energy and again, lean into your systems. So that is a brief rundown of the 4 seasons of military life. I hope that that was helpful for you. And I want you to ask yourself, what season am I in right now? Were you able to kind of put yourself in one of those 4 seasons? And once you know which season that you are currently in, are you taking your actions that align with that season? Are you taking actions that align with the season that you're in? Or do we need to make some adjustments? And if you are lucky enough to know what season you're heading into next, what things can you do now to prepare and set yourself up to take full advantage of the opportunities that each season brings. You might have noticed that as we were talking about each season, I gave you suggestions for ways to continue exercising and staying active, even during the most stressful season. I never told you give up on exercising or hold off on exercising. But the way that you exercise, the way that you approach staying active might have to look different. And that's the big takeaway that I'd like you to hear today. As a fitness and health coach for women in military life, one of the biggest frustrations that I hear from new clients is just how frustrating it is to have to constantly stop and start their fitness routine every single time military life throws off their routine. That's real, right? And it takes a lot more energy to restart every single time, not to mention the toll that it takes on our mental state and our willpower when it feels like we're putting in so much effort, but we're just treading water. We're never actually moving forward. But I hope now you can see that there are ways to keep moving forward. Keep making progress. Keep continuing to pursue your health and fitness goals regardless of the season. It just might have to look a little bit different. So whichever season you're in right now, I want you to embrace it. Just like seasons in nature, they each have their purpose. But we have to be willing to be adaptable. We have to be willing to recognize the season that we're in and be adaptable. And that is the key. That is the key to being able to thrive in every single season of military life. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the PCS-Proof Podcast. Please help me to continue to spread the word about this resource and support the show by sharing this episode with someone in your life who needs to hear it. And you can even tag me on social media at Grace B Fitness. I would absolutely love that. And if you've not already done so, please follow the podcast. Consider leaving me a 5-star review so that this podcast can get pushed to more women in military life who need to hear it. And lastly, I'm very excited to be opening up this podcast to guests. If you have a story about how you PCS-proofed a part of your life, your health, your career, I would love to bring you on in a future episode and share your success and the lessons you learned through the process. I'm accepting guest applications as we speak. So head over to the website, fitpathcoaching.com/PCS-proof-podcast and click the link at the bottom of the page to apply now. Can't wait to hear from you. And with that being said, I hope you have a great week ahead. And remember, no matter where in the world military life sends you, together we are PCS-proof. Adios.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional advice. The views expressed in this podcast may not be those of the host or fitpathcoaching.com. Moreover, we are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast.